Fall colors take center stage at Como's Marjorie McNeely Conservatory. This is the first weekend of part 2 of the Fall Flower Show in the Sunken Garden. We stepped inside to see the orange and yellow and to learn how Dia de los Muertos inspired what's there.
We've changed the color palette. It's much more golden if you look around today.
I understand it's inspired by Dia de los Muertos. Can you tell us a little bit about the significance and how it shows up in this room?
Absolutely. So Dia de los Muertos, we're celebrating our loved ones. Families decorate ofrendas with marigolds traditionally and celosia. So we grew a lot of those for this show, and you'll see them throughout the room. I think we have 4 different marigold varieties, as well as a really tall, beautiful, hot pink celosia. So lots of fun with that. And then we have 2 kinds of chili peppers as well.
Wow. Okay. And so when do you start planning for this? How do you get the idea for what you want this to look like?
We start a year in advance, so we come up with a design concept, and then we start sourcing the material. Some of this stuff we grow from seed in our greenhouses, others we order little teeny weeny cuttings of. So all the chrysanthemums you see in this room, they came to us in June this summer, and we grew them in our greenhouses and timed the flowering to coincide with exactly when we wanted this show to be colorful.
Wow, and you must have to map it all out.
Yes.
Let's take a look at that.
Hand drawn by our curator, Lisa Philander. She created this flower show design, so she sketches it out with colored pencils and gets an idea of where she wants all these design elements in the room. And then for all of the volunteers and staff that help install it, we get copies of this map, keeps us organized, and then we have an inventory on the back, because even though we have the best laid plans, sometimes you bring the material into the room, you start looking around and you think, you know what, if we had a few more of this or less of that, and then we can wiggle around a little bit and change our design on the fly.
It's so beautiful how it comes together, and I wonder if people realize how much actually goes into it.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's a joy, and we have a dedicated group of volunteers that help us with all of these show changes.
And you have so many beautiful plants in here, but you also have some unique things for this season in Minnesota that you can use in here because of the environment, because of the warmth.
Yes, we're so lucky to have this support greenhouse, 1.5 acres under glass. So we bring things like orchids into our fall displays. You can't have that at home in your displays. You might be using some of the cabbage and kale that are really cold tolerant to accent your chrysanthemums, but here in the conservatory we're bringing in these beautiful orchids, the stingray, alocasia, and all these tropical elements as well. So we get a lot more fun things to play with when we're designing our flower shows and displays.
Absolutely. What are some of the other unique things in here that people can see?
I think some of the fun ones are the weird succulents that we have on display right now. I think the kids think of them as looking really Dr. Seuss-like, or sometimes I've seen them looking at some of these little jade plants and they look like ogre ears. I don't know if you ever like use your imagination, but these little round cups, they look like ogre ears. So I've seen the kids thinking, oh, that looks like Shrek. And it's fun to hear what they're seeing in the design.
Yeah. What's it like for you to launch another show and see the reactions?
It's so thrilling. So we install the show, and then I try to come out after the public has gotten a chance to enter the room and just sort of hang in the background and hear their comments as they're chatting with one another, because I've noticed a lot of guests, this is their first stop when they come to the conservatory. They know this room changes all the time. We have 6 flower shows a year, so they make a beeline for the Sunken Garden to see what's it going to look like today.
Is there a favorite part for you in here?
I love the constant change. It's really just that we get to flip the room every month or so. We're coming up with something new, so we're always producing and growing new flowers to decorate this space.
So beautiful in there. The Fall Flower Show is open and runs through the last weekend of the month. Today's hours are from 10 until 4, and while it's free to see, Como does welcome a donation.
I feel like that's a great way to brighten the mood, given the fact that our days are getting darker and darker.
Yes, and if you haven't walked in there yet, Adam,
I haven't.
You feel the warmth, and it's just really nice and cozy in there. So it's a good way to escape.